And so this is a CERN, and we see all these cloaked figures in a ceremony, and they remove the cloak from a young girl. And what they're reenacting here, disturbingly, is a human sacrifice. And this is definitely at the grounds of CERN. This was not a real human sacrifice. I have to say that this was some sort of prank with the scientists, but it's to date, so far as we know, no one has been reprimanded or fired or anything like that. But it's kind of like wink, wink. We know what's happening here.
I was really shocked to see that, because I never, even the Gotthard thing, I never expected this evil to be so evil, because this is a ritual that you can find a bit everywhere in the world that we're seeing now disclosed. Yeah, and you see how big it came in the back, and it is around, so it is a portal with Shiva the Destroyer.
All Things Unexplained is free to watch on YouTube and listen to wherever you get your podcasts. If you would like to support our show, you can visit our YouTube store. Additionally, you can find us on Venmo under All Things Unexplained. Be sure to check out our website, allthingsunexplained.com. All proceeds from the sales of Dr. Mounce's books on Amazon and Audible also go straight to our show.
I am here to discuss the so-called flying saucers.
We know now that in the early years of the 20th century, this world was being watched closely by intelligences greater than man's.
Did the CIA write Wind of Change by the Scorpions?
As humans busied themselves about the various concerns, they were scrutinized and studied.
Dr. Loeb, what percentage chance do you give it that you have indeed uncovered extraterrestrial or non-human technology?
With infinite complacence, people went about their affairs, yet across an immense ethereal gulf, intellects vast and unsympathetic drew their plans against us.
All of a sudden, a stick out of nowhere landed right in front of us, and there was no tree, nothing overhead. Something threw it at us.
Yeah.
All Things Unexplained.
So some of that, I think, sir, we'll save for closed session.
Hello, all you unexplained ones. Thank you for joining us. I am your host, CJ Derringer, along with my co-host, Dr. Mounce. Something we don't get to say often is good morning. Normally, we're recording these shows at night, so good morning to everyone who is joining us. Thank you for tuning in. We really love all of our listeners in this community that we have built here at All Things Unexplained of open-minded people, and we have a wonderful show for you today. You are not going to want to miss this conversation. Please do like and subscribe, follow our show so that we can continue bringing this wonderful information to you. And now we are going to welcome to the show Dr. Astrid Stuckelberger. Good morning, Dr. Stuckelberger.
Good morning, both. Thank you for inviting me. This is a fantastic adventure.
And we're speaking with Dr. Astrid Stuckelberger, and we're so thankful she's here with us today to talk about all kinds of things. Astrid, some scientists have said that, you know what, we have scientific principles in place that kind of point toward a matrix because they seem to be a boundary that we cannot escape. For example, the speed of light, traveling across vast distances. And sure enough, these seem to be the things that CERN is really looking into from the very beginning, and especially with the Large Hadron Collider, where they're smashing these subatomic particles. And I saw where, you know, these particles that are smashing together, they compare to the width of a hair, the same way that a grain of sand compares to the Earth. So this is how small the particles are that we're talking about. And at one point, you know, you had mentioned subatomic dimensions. So I feel like, is it proper to say that when we're talking about these 17 dimensions, that we're somehow speaking about subatomic dimensions?
You're leading my thought to a place that I want to talk about. It's that for me, everything they're doing, and it's also genetic, because in genetics there is subatomic. And if you look at all the texts that have been by WHO, everybody, they are talking of genome editing when they don't even know the hidden genome, the junk genome are the most important. They're about frequency. The Nobel Prize, which is really, the propaganda mechanism to impose a science, the last ones were to an American and a French who were decoding the genome. And even one of them, I have to find the name, she wrote a book on God's code. Decoding God. And that's exactly what they want. For me, that goes in the direction of their motivation. Why are they doing that? They want to find what is making the universe, they or it, the smallest and the biggest. That's why NASA has been created and CERN has been created for the both extremes that nobody can check because they're hiding everything. And they want to take over for us, through us, our divine properties. For me, that's clear, because they're doing all these cults and they're summoning things, and they're trying to find, and how do you replace a life by creating virtual life? And this is where I find this coherence, is that with AI, they're looking at how you can create synthetic subatomic elements, synthetic genes. And actually they have already started to put, strains. CRISPR-Cas, for those who know, is the technique of, going and changing the book of life, and to take a page out and to put a synthetic page, to rewrite the story that we have in our genes, whatever it is that is real. And they want to take over. So you can look at that, in a biblical way, and say that it's evil Lucifer who wants to take the code of God and wants to be God, which is the agenda of the Freemason, by the way, the higher level after 33. So for me, there is a war on who we are. They want to do this, like Max Igan, who has made very good videos lately. Max Igan, IGAN. He say artificial intelligence is just a tool, but what they want to do really is autonomous virtual life. And it's very interesting, because to me that is a key of the puzzle. They are aiming at imposing AI. It is a very dangerous tool, because AI, you can program it to be autonomous. Can you imagine if suddenly AI, and that Singularity is near in the US, was built for that? In all my research on longevity, I stumble onto Singularity is near, where everything, all the genomes, every data is going to come in one database, the big data, and this is going to be autonomous and direct the whole world without us. So this is the danger, because it is abuse. It is a potential abuse that is absolutely incredible, and surveillance, and you can see it going on, because we are very free. It's interesting, because with the contrast, you can feel and see that our divine is very free, creative. They can never predict, especially women. They cannot predict what they're going to do next. So they never put them in religious, heads of religions, for example, or they replace a man with women with man transformed into women. So they will not mention.
I'll just slide on out of here on that one.
We are unpredictable. It's a beautiful thing.
But because our brain is not wired the same, and it's funny, which is this comedian who's so funny, Gatelin. Anyway, he died in 2019, and he has one on the brain of man and women, which is very funny. But it's true, and there are very nice sides, and there are, of course, challenging sides to that. But we are not the same, but we are complementary, and they're breaking that now. If you look, their aim is to break down family, to break down the beauty of man and woman being complementary, and so they want to break creation, procreation. They want to take over maternity. They're creating artificial wombs.
it does seem like AI is taking over. It does seem as though the future of humanity is some sort of crossbreed of artificial intelligence and human. And maybe that's the way that we get to another universe, right? Is they think that if they can crossbreed us with artificial intelligence, we can survive long enough to get across the universe to a different planet or to a different solar system. So let's go back a little bit to, I want to talk about beings, this concept of beings and rituals that have happened at CERN. And I think there was one other place that we wanted to bring up some rituals. And we had a question
it's all
here.
over the place. It's all over the
Yeah,
place.
it is all over the place. So a comment here from Helen of Crystals. And thank you, Helen, by the way. She always tunes in and is so communicative with us and always commenting. So Helen, we appreciate you. Helen of Crystal says, it's the satanic ritual type opening ceremonies that make me curious. And maybe you have more insight into what she is referring to.
And I have an interesting video on that as well.
Oh, great.
Good. So let's switch it.
Okay, so let me preface this video by this. So up until this video, it was all just speculation, right, about satanic rituals and that sort of thing going on at CERN. But then these CERN scientists literally made a prank sort of video acknowledging that, hey, this is part of our lore. This doesn't have any sound. And because it's a little disturbing, I'm going to cut the very end of it off, but it's very short. So let me add this to the stage. And what we're seeing here, this is someone recording from a cell phone. This is at CERN, and you can see the statue of Shiva there, which we will talk about at some point, hopefully. And so this is at CERN, and we see all these cloaked figures in a ceremony, and they removed the cloak from a young girl. And what they're reenacting here, disturbingly, is a human sacrifice. And this is definitely at the grounds of CERN. This was not a real human sacrifice. I have to say that this was some sort of prank with the scientists, but it's to date, so far as we know, no one has been reprimanded or fired or anything like that. But it's kind of like wink, wink. We know what's happening here.
I was really shocked to see that because I never, even the Gotthard thing, I never expected this evil to be so evil, because this is a ritual that you can find a bit everywhere in the world that we're seeing now disclosed. Yeah, and you see how big it came in the back, and it is around, so it is a portal with Shiva, the destroyer, in the middle. So Shiva is the god, Hindu god of destruction. And it is built on Apollyon, which it is a place in Geneva that I didn't know, but now I know, historically, which is already an altar or sacrifice of destruction, not of good, but of evil. And so this ritual can just, remind you of other rituals that are made around the world, like the Bohemian Groove. Are they doing the same, etc.? And is it the same group? Yes, because they do sacrifices, and they need the sacrifice to feed the beast. For me, there is something there of feeding the beast and the destroyer to summon, like this guy said, I think it's Rich Sutton, to summon, they call it the entities / demons. And, and so if people know that, then this is a symbol of the portal. I'm analyzing, past knowledge, because I didn't know they were doing that. I saw the Shiva, actually, by the way, this Shiva statue, which I thought was nice. Now I know it's a transformer, I guess, but is also in one of the executive rooms of WHO, where we used to go in this room to wait to go and make a panel in the executive room. In the executive room, which is the most important decision making. So it's it's not as big, but there is a symbol, and they work with symbols, like the CERN symbol, like everything is symbolic of this group who has a cult. And to add to that, I can tell you another internal stories, is that somebody in WHO, after a conference I made, came to me and said, and told me that what I'm saying is correct, that she's very happy because nobody dares to speak. Why? Because they're afraid to lose their pension system. And that's the only reason, I guess, that nobody's is talking. But I said to her, but please tell me what energy and what is behind Tedros, the Director General. Who is directing him exactly? What, apart from Gavi, something, a group? And she said it's a cult. And when you know that the CERN is connected to WHO through a tunnel, and the whole United Nations has tunnels underground, because people from the security have told me that, confirmed. There is a whole system underground with CERN, with the whole United Nations system. We have more than 23 agencies and specialized program of the UN. It's the World Trade Organization, the refugee, the migrants, ITU, very important for AI, is just opposite. And then you have the ILO for the labor office. You have the meteorological office. We have more than anybody else in the whole system. And Switzerland has given immunity to everybody. Gavi also has 10 storage. So you have a system of tunnel underground, and they communicate like that. You don't see when they go here and they go there. And the WEF, the World Economic Forum, is just opposite too. And what is said, I'm going to do a scoop now, because I have many witnesses, yes, who are very reliable, who told me that under the lake there is one of the main CIA bases, headquarters.
What?
Yes, and I was like, so I'll tell you how.
What lake is that?
The lake of Geneva, the Léman, Lac Léman. So we have the French border and the Swiss, and it's the lake there. Under the lake, which is profound, they have a city apparently underground. I don't know how they breathe, but they know. I mean, and it's really people reliable. It's a former military who has worked in the American Army, and was building helicopters with a top group. And I called him to know if the helicopters were from the army, because there are many who are still on Geneva undeclared. And he said, yes, they are from the army, not the Swiss army, but I cannot tell you. I said, are they nice people? Tell me just if they are or the bad one. And he said, nice. Okay, that's it. I cannot tell you anymore. So that was one confirmation. He said that there is a city under the lake that is more than 300,000 people.
What?
And because it's connected to the Geneva, the Mediterranean underground with submarines. Now, another proof is that the Russians, a Russian delegation, came very discreetly on the other side of Geneva, of the lake. And it's a monastery who told me that, and many people who are in that village, they saw them come with a submarine, a bathyscaphe, and they were going under the lake of Geneva during 1 week. They were doing investigation. So there is something fishy. It's literal, figurative fishy in this lake. So it explains why it's so important, but it doesn't explain why they chose Geneva to build all this. And it is energetically, apparently, geobiologically, every big mountain is a point of energy on the cities under in the world. And there are some that have more energy, like the Mont Blanc, the Monte Bianco, which is, I can see it from my window.
Oh.
It's a beautiful mountain. Yeah, it's 4,000 meters. I don't know how much it is in feet, but it is the highest in Europe for more than 4,000, almost 5,000.
I feel like this all has to be connected to a lot of these unidentified subversible phenomenon that we're seeing. The fact that we've got these cities underwater, and a lot of people who are in the UAP, UFO world have said these beings aren't just starting to visit us. They've been here and they're still here. And you would have to think that some of these have to be underwater if they have been here.
Well, if they're parasites, you see, if they're parasites, they can live. They don't need to breathe the same, or I don't know. We are humans, so that was one
You're mortal.
But David Icke has made incredible interviews, of former MK Ultra of Mengele, who has worked with the royalties, and she has disclosed so much. She said they're not human, the royalty of England, and you can look at David Icke's videos. It's fascinating. So we have to be open. We cannot in an investigation, we cannot do obstruction to possibilities. That's my
Yes. So while we're talking about things that are underground, let's talk a little bit about the Gotthard Tunnel's connection to CERN and this interesting opening ceremony that they had, which I know nothing about. So hopefully you'll fill me in.
Yeah, again, I never noticed because I don't watch all the news stuff. So when people started to make me aware of this, I looked at it and I was like, watched it, and I said, oh, this is horrible. An inauguration is not like this. And in this little clip, you can find it on X, when you look at St. Gotthard. They are making really, there are all the symbols of a portal, the CERN, of a goat, the devil, and of people trying to, provoke. Oh, yeah, great if you can show it, because it's really...
Okay, so they've got horse and buggy going through.
Yeah, that's a postal thing. And now they're like zombies. You see?
What in the world? So we're watching what appears to be, I'm going to say actors and actresses, a bunch of women and some men in orange jumpsuits.
Do you think that's actors? I think it might actually be employees.
No, it's artists. It's
artists?
A show. And this orange suit is the suit of workers, slaves, / slaves. And they make a show, and at some point somebody takes off their clothes, and then you have I hope we can see it, but you see they are like zombies obeying.
Yes.
And now they start making a ritual kind of thing.
Okay, so what are we seeing in the background? That's supposed to be a screen of some sort where we're seeing boulders tumbling to the ground.
Yeah, because actually Gotthard is one of the highest mountains of Switzerland also, and they made the biggest tunnel in Switzerland. They digged the mountain. They have this passion of digging mountains, in general in this world. Yeah. And actually, it's called Saint Gotthard, which means the saint of God. And there is a bridge on the side of the mountain called the Bridge of the Devil. So there is a whole mythological symbolism on that mountain from a long time already. It's not new. So they're portraying the work of the workers. That's what you can think from a first stand. But now you see, well, right. People undressed.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't creepy already, it just got weird.
They are all in their undergarments throwing chalk, maybe? I'm not sure.
I haven't seen that. Thank you for showing. I didn't see that. I'm shocked because people are usually very prude and they don't show things like that.
This is definitely an interesting thing to show when you're just, opening a tunnel.
Yeah, welcome to the new highway. Let's celebrate.
There's some erotica going on here in the middle of this
celebration. And then they get even worse after that.
Okay. Our erotica is gone, and we now have somebody dressed in all black with chains dancing epileptically is all I could say.
Yeah, you see now the symbol of an angel?
We've got an angel
and
now.
It's a baby.
Okay, that's creepy.
Kind of strange. You see, it's weird though. It's like the Eurovision, what they're doing in music now. It's awful. Yeah, and now you get the mosques that are typical of Basel, where the Bank of Settlement is in Switzerland, and of many valleys where you have those mosques with the long hairs that represent entities that are not good, that we have to chase from the village, for example.
What in the world?
But we don't see the mosque yet, so this is strange.
They look like Cousin It, and there's something else dangling from the ceiling now.
I don't understand how this represents this tunnel at all. That's where I'm lost.
Yeah, that's why it's actually a ceremony. It's like a cult and a
It is
ritual.
very
And
much
only
like a
those
cult
who
ceremony.
are in this Freemasonry cult or whatever other cult there are.
Oh, now we've
You
got
see, now you
animal
see,
skulls.
yeah, now you get the horns of the
Oh my.
beasts, yeah,
And women in all white robes carrying things.
and it's black and
And
white also. It's
What
some
is
sort
that?
of
it's
satanic
very
looking
perverse
goat
because they
thing.
use the animals of Switzerland to portray evil.
Evil. Oh, who's this guy?
CJ,
Well,
can
he's
you hear
supposed
the
to
audio
be
on
the
this?
peasant
No.
who sings in the mountains, but he's not like that. A peasant is not dressed like that.
All right.
And this
the
is
big
all the
reveal?
politicians. But there is if it's a bit further, you can see the portal of the CERN.
Okay, so connect
There
Let's
is
to
see
a
if we
point
can
CERN.
where
get to
you
the
see the portal of the CERN and some entities coming in and out. So they have portrayed the CERN.
And is this tunnel connected to CERN?
Underground, probably, because
Okay.
with the LHC and with all the tunnels that we find from Geneva to Rome to Jerusalem, probably. But I cannot. You see all the mountains in you see those the officials.
Yeah,
All the
they're all going,
officials are
what in the
so
heck?
happy.
I've never been more uncomfortable in my life. What did we just sit through?
But you remember, it's the same as the inauguration of the Olympic Games in London. They had portrayed so awful things that you
Forgot about that.
felt sick of it.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you type more, people who want to watch, you type Saint Gotthard and you put CERN, you will look. It really looks satanic, really.
Yeah.
And it's like the London inauguration. They were also showing horrible things, and it's like also song contest today. They are portraying and doing propaganda because they want to prepare people to fall in the trap of the cult. They want people to get in the cult and accept the AI probably programmed cult, something like that. Something, but it's awful for to realize that Switzerland is caught in all this, and there are very sincere people everywhere, and they have been hiding and taking advantage of the whole system of slavery. Tax, we should not pay tax, and we just keep on paying more and more tax on the cat, on the living, and they try really the destruction. So it's just a proof that Switzerland is part of that. I can add something, because my dad was a military, and when I was a kid, he always said, don't worry, Switzerland is very well protected. We are a defense military, not an attack. Hitler never attacked us because he knew it takes a long time, because our mountains are full of food and hospitals, and it's like cities in the mountain. So that's why I think now it's used in a very bad way, probably, or it has been used in many different ways. Yeah.
It looks so beautiful there. I need to make a visit.
Yes, it's really, you have to come. It's very
Come hike the
nice,
mountain.
but it's also why they took the good energy and they changed it. I think there's too many materialistic energy here.
Yes,
at the moment.
that is a repeated problem on our planet. Tim, I know you wanted to dive into a little bit about the Temple of Apollo, correct?
Well, actually, I would love to circle back to something else. We're
Okay.
joined by Dr. Astrid Stuckelberger, and we're talking about CERN and tunnels and secret bases under lakes and all kinds of great things. Thanks so much to Dr. Astrid for joining us. So, Dr. Astrid, we've heard CERN described as maybe having two purposes, or, they've got two things they could be searching for. One is controlling time, and I think that you have mentioned that before. Have you heard anything about scientists at CERN, that maybe one of their goals is control of time itself?
Well, I have never met anybody, but it is on their website. And this is where they have teams of different things, but I was never aware that they control time, but it's by doing research that I see that this is one of their aim is to take a hand on the cosmos, because cosmic ray is part of their agenda, the portals, the black hole, the antimatter. So, yeah, they basically want not only to replace God, but to replace maybe they have already changed the time. You see,
True.
we can also think the opposite. It's that they have created this Antarctica barrier, that we are hidden. There are continents that are hidden. We only are on a little part of this Earth, which might not be only round but convex or other forms, and they are hiding that, and they are putting us in a, because but we should be eternal. We should not even talk about death. For me, it's strange because I feel I'm eternal. I mean, they can. This is why maybe this is going to happen, that this matrix of time and space that has been created, it might shift, and we might see the real truth. So it could be the both ways. They're looking for changing it, or they have changed it, and we are seeing the crumbling down of it.
And you just brought up something that was my second point, that they could be trying to do at CERN. You mentioned black holes, and some people speculate they could be trying to create miniature or mini black holes, right? Black holes they can control.
To be continued. All things unexplained.
What's your hot take on Travis Taylor?
I've got an exclusive for you guys if you want it, about
Yes,
the Alaska.
we do.
Okay.
Dr. Taylor was revealed to be the chief scientist of the UAP task force with the Pentagon.
So some of that, I think, sir, we'll save for closed session.
All Things Unexplained is free to watch on YouTube and listen to wherever you get your podcasts. If you would like to support our show, you can visit our YouTube store. Additionally, you can find us on Venmo under All Things Unexplained. Be sure to check out our website, allthingsunexplained.com. All proceeds from the sales of Dr. Mounce's books on Amazon and Audible also go straight to our show.